like a relationship. You're gonna be with them for the duration of the company. And I know founders don't believe this, but the ability of the investor to value add, sometimes the founder is so focused in that space. Someone like the investor can be a little bit on the outside and give you some really useful advice because they're seeing things from a different perspective. Someone you get along with, someone you know who can add value to the company as you grow, someone who's got the network and who can be there for you. Because you know, being a founder is a bloody lonely job. Hi, I'm Bindi Korea. Been involved in the UK and European and global tech ecosystem for ever, it seems, probably the last 20 years. I launched the early stage startup business for Microsoft in the UK way back in 2007. And of course, after working with thousands of entrepreneurs, in late 2015, I decided to branch out and launch my own advisory business. And that's what I've been doing ever since. I've really always been in early at something and then seen the launch of it, and then I tend to jump out and go back in early into something. It's an amazing concept to have an idea. So whether it's an idea to launch a business unit or a new startup and a new product, but the real idea that turns into success is the group that executes on that idea and is able to get traction and is able to drive, customers and is listening to their customer base and building their product around what that customer base is. And more importantly, it understands a need in the market. The entrepreneurs I've chosen to work with and the entrepreneurs that I know a lot of seed funds work with, they see there's a passion and purpose, but there's also a passion and purpose where there's a market need. Because ultimately in venture, it is about taking that bet. It is about looking at waves. And some wonderful entrepreneurs are ahead of their time and they just stick it out as well. There's a drive because they really want to solve that problem. You're focused, right? You're focused on the problem, you're focused on delivering a company, but sometimes step back and think of the bigger picture of where other people in your ecosystem are coming from. So think out of your box, but deliver in your box. Investors are entrepreneurs too. Right, they've got to make returns. They have investors at the top of the food chain. And they're trying to get that return as well, just like the entrepreneur is. It's like a relationship, right? It's like a marriage. You're gonna be with them for the duration of the company. And so you better have a good working relationship with them. They're gonna be on your board. They're gonna help you determine the direction of your company. So it's gotta be a really trusting situation, and good for the founder that has, 5-7 term sheets on the table, and there's some great companies out there that have had that. Pick the one that you have that relationship with, but also pick the one that has that. And I know founders don't believe this, but the ability of the investor to value add. So, you're trying to grow your team and they might know someone. You're trying to move into a new market, they might know someone. You're moving into a new territory, they might know someone. You want to do growth round, well, they're going to know people further up the investor food chain, so they might know someone. And someone maybe who's been there, done that as well. Because sometimes the founder is so focused in that space, someone like the investor and who's your board member can be a little bit on the outside and give you some really useful advice because they're seeing things from a different perspective. But also the good investor has a fiscal responsibility to make sure the company performs. So you've got to be aware that is also what a good investor board member will do as well. Sometimes you might have to just face it and go, this isn't going to work. And you have to make that brutal decision. And I assume you're probably going to interview founders that have had to make that brutal decision. But sometimes you have to take a long, cold, hard look at yourself, the company, the market dynamics, and go, this is not going to work. And you've got to be thoughtful about that as well. Crowdfunding is a good beginning way. This is a little bit old school thinking, but actually, to me, I still think if you're funding through the crowd is saying, the market's saying, oh, well, we want to invest in this because it's such an interesting concept. And the investor can look at it going as a signal from the market, there's initial traction here. So there's lots of different ways, and take it in little bite sizes, not big chunks. Don't give up.